Sean, I almost hate reporting on this because it seems like every other day now, the hypocrisy from Democratic leaders seems to have no bounds at this point. Check out this tweet from San Jose Mayor Sam Liccardo the day before Thanksgiving. He says this: cases are spiking in part because we're letting our guard and masks down with family and friends. Let's cancel the big gatherings this year and focus on keeping each other safe. Well, Liccardo was one of the many leaders urging people to spend Thanksgiving at home, as you saw from that tweet, and only be with immediate family. But check out this headline. San Jose Mayor ignored health protocols during holiday celebrations. Sam Liccardo spent Thanksgiving at his parents' home, apparently skirting health guidelines that urge the public not to gather with people outside their household. Just another case here of do as I say, not as I do. Joining us to discuss, Sebastian Gorka, host of America First with Dr. Sebastian Gorka on the Salem Radio Network. Dr. Gorka, thank you for being here, and sorry that we have to break this down again. I mean, first we talked about Mayor Lightfoot, then we had Muriel Bowser, Gavin Newsom, and now we can add Liccardo to this. Oh, Cuomo, got him too. The hypocrisy just seems unending. You think that after one of these things would happen, specifically after Newsom, people would rein it in and be like, okay, let me learn my lesson from somebody else, but it seems like they just want to learn their own lessons.
It has nothing to do with lessons or anything else. This is the new aristocracy. I came to America. I'm a legal immigrant. I believe this was a classless society. I was wrong. We have this self-proclaimed aristocracy that says rules for thee, but not for me. And look at Nancy Marie Antoinette Pelosi, who, by the way, is the aunt of gruesome Newsom in California. Let's just be clear about how much California is zipped up with the Democrats. This is the woman, as 44 million people lose their jobs because of the China virus, stands in front of her $23,000 fridge, scooping up her $100 per gallon ice cream. That's the Democrat. We do what we want to do. The peasants, they can just die.
There's two things that fascinate me about this story, because as Lindsay pointed out, it's like we keep having to report it because it's amazing how many of these people do it. And it's not just the members, the elected members of the left. It's also, the people like Jonathan Karl at ABC and Chris Cuomo at CNN who do it as well. But it's amazing to me, I think Lindsay's point, which is you see a couple people do it and get caught and you think, okay, I'm in the public eye. I've said a bunch of stuff about COVID. I got to be careful what I say or do. And they don't. It's almost like reckless abandon. It's like they feel like they've got like a force field around them where they're like, no one will report this. No one will report this. It blows my mind that when they see it happen to others, they don't say, all right, I just said don't go do this, so I can't do it myself.
Yeah, it really is remarkable that you think once one of them gets caught really high profile that they're going to try and behave. But they don't. Why? Because they don't care. This isn't about truth. If it really were about truth, then they would be afraid themselves. They would behave. This is all a facade for them. Remember that fabulous moment. It's for me when the scales fell from my eyes, the Kavanaugh hearing, and you have two senators. You have Spartacus Booker and you have Kamala Harris say her truth when it comes to Blasey Ford. What do you mean, her truth? Either she is a victim of a serial gang rapist who drugs his victims, or it never happened. For them, truth is only a tool to be used to exploit others and to maintain power. If I get caught, I'll just shrug it off the next day. That's who the Democrats are, and that's un-American.
Yeah, and Sean, you mentioned something too. A lot of times, I think they know that the media won't cover it, and so it's kind of just like, well, I can do whatever I want. Dr. Gorka, Sean and I were talking about this earlier as well. The hypocrisy from the media to only cover what they want and to frame a story. President Trump tweeted this out about school closures, tweeting this: the president was right when he said, get the kids back in school. Now, Dr. Fauci says, you know what? I'm looking at the data. The kids should be back in school. The Media Research Center, they also had a headline about it saying Nets, talking about the networks, blackout Fauci saying kids should be in school.
But this is the same thing that they did when he talked about voting. If Fauci says something that goes against the left's narrative, right? Kids should be in school. If he says that you can vote in person, they ignore it. They don't report it. It's only when Fauci says something that's anti-Trump or pro-them. But they don't want to report everything Fauci says. They only want to report what they want to hear Fauci say.
Look, it's very simple. It's why Newsmax is exploding in popularity, because you don't pick the news based upon who you can bash. You want to report the truth. The mainstream legacy media only reports things that generally they make up, but they can use to attack Donald Trump. Look at the last 4 years. The election was stolen. The president is an agent of Russia. 4 years. Now, the incumbent wants to use every legal measure to make sure there wasn't any cheating, and we're supposed to believe that nothing ever happened. That's because they're not journalists. They are activists, and they have a political agenda, and they're hacks, all of them.
Yeah, well, we were just talking to Matt Gaetz about this, how the left and the media were talking about these machines. And now on the right, if you talk about it, you are a conspiracy theorist. And how dare you say that there's issue with machines? All along, there's reports out there from very liberal outlets giving concern. Senator Elizabeth Warren was one of those sounding the alarm, and she was okay. But if you say it now, you're a conspiracy theorist.
Vox, the Huffington Post, 4 years ago wrote stories about Dominion voting, about these systems that can be hacked so easily. But now it's not a problem. Why? Oh, because you think your guy won, therefore we have to deep six it into George Orwell's memory hole. These people are propagandists. It's really that simple.
Yeah. Sebastian Gorka, thank you so much for being here with us.
Hang on 1 second, 1 second. I promised Sean, I know his mom is a big fan, so here's my copy signed of The War for America's Soul, and it's going in the envelope to your mother right now, and I'm mailing it tomorrow. So, Mrs. Spicer, I keep my promises.
This is a good night.
She doesn't even know. I would have made it a Christmas present, Seb.
Now you can't. He broke it on air.
He is a man. He's not just a man of his word, but a good man. That was a kind gesture that I just mentioned how much she enjoyed watching Seb on the show. And he volunteered on his own and said, I'd love her to. So thank you for being so kind.
Of course. God bless them.
All
We're going to give viewers a ton of thoughts now. They're going to be like, I'm going to ask Seb Gorka for He's lucky that's a bestseller. You can get it.
That's right. Good to see you, Seb. All right.